everybody. Oh yeah, welcome back to another hot episode of a very special podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about all your favorite TV series from yesteryear, and then we discuss it over a glass of wine. And I'm your host, yes, your host, Patrick M. Dunn, and I'm here joined today, as always, by Catherine Halstead, the author.
Catherine, huh? Why are you calling me Catherine?
Isn't there only like two names you let me call, and it's Cat or Catherine? I can't call you Catherine Elizabeth anymore.
Well, it's just weird. Like, okay, I only go by Catherine at work.
Oh.
And even that's starting to fade.
Now people are comfortable and cozy with you, and they call you Cat.
It was really weird. Like, one day I was reading emails, and they referred to me as Cat, and I was like, what the hell is happening?
They're onto your alter ego. And I also think of your email to a very special podcast, in which you said at the end, like, P.S.
You can call me Catherine.
Yeah, P.S. You can call me Catherine. It's Catherine to you guys.
You jackasses.
Stupid men doing a podcast, stealing our name.
Hey, those fuckers were too afraid to ever actually talk to us. That's what got me pissed.
If you're new to the podcast, like 2 years ago, we discovered there was another podcast. They stole our name after we came out and then did the same, like, format. And it took them, like, 6 to 7 months for them to, like, finally change the name of their podcast and all their social medias, except for their Facebook. Is that it? Is that the one?
Yeah, they claim they can't change the Facebook, and I'm pretty sure that's BS.
The way we responded back to that is we're just going to randomly just make fun of them every couple of months on this podcast. So, yeah, that's a very special podcast corner, brought to you by bitterness.
I'm a petty bitch.
Like, I was like mad for like a few days, but like your tirade went on for a long time. It was great.
I still have my dossier.
You were like the vengeful, like, soap opera villainess. I have the information. I'm going to bring you down. I'm going to blackmail you, Mr. Lasagna. Was that the guy's name?
That fucker, Peter Lasagna. Online persona.
You see, like, the only time, like, lasagna is appropriate is when Garfield wants to eat it.
Exactly.
And, like, when I'm hungry for lunch. I'm going to throw this out there. Like, I'm not, like, too crazy about lasagna, like, the food. I don't know. It's, like, very rarely am I, like, in the mood for a lasagna.
Really?
I don't know.
It's, like, one of my favorite foods.
Really?
Yeah, it's, like, one of my signature dishes that I make.
You know what? I have an idea. Cat Halstead, the author.
What is this idea?
I feel like, since we're talking about bringing recipes back to our website, maybe you should make your signature dish.
Maybe I should. Like, my lasagna is so good. People who don't like lasagna like it.
Oh, maybe you should get some dry ice and send me like a package, like a little lasagna drop.
Lasagna drop.
Uber Eats me some Cat Halstead lasagna. What is your secret ingredient? What's the secret ingredient that you throw in your lasagna? Love?
Well, here's the thing. I do a mix of meat and vegetable lasagna.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, sometimes like too much meat is just too much meat.
Yeah.
For a lack of better description.
So I do like a kind of a mix of both. And I use ground beef. I use some ground beef and ground turkey. Just to like switch it up a little bit.
Maybe you should throw in a pepperoni there. Throw in a pepperoni or two.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
That would ruin the whole thing.
I've had lasagna with pepperoni, and girl, boner inducing.
Really?
Yeah. Don't knock the hustle until you throw a nice big pepperoni lasagna down your throat.
This sounds so dirty.
It does sound dirty, but it's also right, girl. It's also right. Makes this world spin around and round. Pepperoni and lasagna going down your gullet.
Like, I almost wish you guys could see my reaction, but if we actually like did video, I'd have to like brush my hair and not be in pajamas.
All right, so maybe like a couple hours from now, when you're like fully awake and you get your hair all teased, just do like a fake reaction shot, a fake reaction video of like you like fake responding to something I said, and we'll make it like a GIF. We'll make it an animated GIF that we can put on our Twitter, which is very podcast, by the way. Follow it and love it, and I don't know, interact with us and tell us how much you love me and how much you think Cat is all right.
Yes, because Patrick's the one everybody loves.
Actually, no, I'm sorry. Don't go to our Twitter. Go to our listener survey. Yeah, our listener survey, which I keep forgetting to put in the show notes.
I know. God damn it, Patrick.
Well, it's always like middle of the night by the time I like throw the episode up, and I just like forget to like throw it in there. And I remembered after I post. I don't feel like going back. Maybe I'll just wait till tomorrow morning and I'll do it. And it never happens.
And then you never do.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe by the time this episode drops, It'll be in there. And hold on. Speaking of this episode, what are we doing today, Kat Halstead, the lasagna maker?
I don't know. What are we doing? I can't remember.
How could you forget? We've been talking about it for like 4 days.
Oh.
We are going back to my old hometown. And no, I'm not talking about Cheers. We're going to the law offices of, I can't remember the law office name. We're just going to say the law office of William Shatner and Dave Spader.
It's Crane, Poole, and Schmidt.
So it's whatever you just said.
Crane, Poole, and Schmidt.
What is the title, the banner title that hangs over Crane, Poole, and Schmidt?
Boston Legal.
Oh, yeah. Our favorite show from like the mid-2000s, starring our boy toys, James Spader, William Shatner, and our gal pal, Candace Bergen, and the mom from Modern Family.
Julie Bowen.
Yeah, Julie Bowen.
I know. Like, I was shocked. I was like, whoa.
I forgot she was on that, to be honest with you. And you know what? Hold on. And all the time that I ever watched this show alongside Lost and Modern Family, I knew she was on Lost and Modern Family, but I never realized that it was the same person. What? What's wrong with me?
Like, I'm going to be completely honest. Like, Boston Legal is a show that I enjoyed.
Yeah, it's great.
It wasn't one I was, like, devoted to. You know, it's like you put it on and you enjoyed it and then you changed the channel and was like, whatever.
Yeah, you probably watched it, like, one hot night in, like, 2007 when you were, like, doing your nails or something.
Like, I'm sitting there on my laptop in the college dorm or whatever.
No, this was on, like, way after college, girl, wasn't it?
That's right, because I remember watching the final season of The Practice in my college dorm apartment.
Oh, yeah, because, spoiler alert, this show is a spin-off. Yeah, girl, a spin-off of The Practice starring James Spader. He was on the final season of The Practice?
Yeah, he was on the final season of The Practice.
William Shatner too, right? Like, here and there?
Yeah, William Shatner. Okay, so, like, James Spader shows up and he, like, joins that law firm as an associate or whatever. And then they, like, fire him and the British chick, Tara.
Oh, yeah, love her.
So they get together and sue for wrongful termination, and Denny Crane is their lawyer.
Oh, yeah. And then fans loved the like little camaraderie between Denny Crane and Alan Shores, and they were like, you know what? Mm-hmm. We need our own separate weekly adventures of these two. And guess what? Oh, yeah, ABC, the alphabet, the next fall, they were like, guess what, guys? Guess what, fans? We got your emails. We saw your, I was going to say tweets, but this was like 2005. We saw your
No tweets, hon.
We saw your MySpace posts. I don't know. Friendster. We saw you clamoring for this on Friendster or like, the IMDb message board.
It was barely MySpace. It was barely even MySpace back then.
The IMDb message board or televisionwithoutapity.com message board. We saw your post.
Probably TV Without Pity.
We saw your post and we teamed them up and we even threw Candace Bergen in there and Julie Bowen, who you don't know yet. You'll love her.
Julie Bowen didn't join until the episode we watched is her first episode.
Oh, well, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? In a whole year from now, we're going to throw in Julie Bowen, who you will grow to love like 5 years later.
But before that, you get Monica Potter.
Oh, yeah. Monica Potter was on Parenthood. I always like mix my okay, yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason.
And she was in that like one rom-com with Freddie Prinze Jr. where he had the dog named Hamlet, who was a Great Dane.
I don't think I know this.
Yeah. And she lived with all the models. Yeah. It was called Head Over Heels.
Oh, yeah. That was Monica Potter?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Hold on. I'm just going to throw this out there. Like, my apologies to Monica Potter, but you have a forgettable face.
Sorry, Monica Potter.
I see her name, like, you know, I'll be, like, watching something, and I'm like, and it'll say, in, like, the guest credits, it'll say Monica Potter. I'm like, oh, Monica Potter's in this. And then...
You don't know who she is.
I forget because the whole hour goes by, and I just, like, get to the end of it, and then I watch the next episode, and it says, like, guest star Monica Potter, and I was like, wait, who was she on the last episode that I just watched?
Yeah, okay, so, like, here's the thing. She definitely, like, because I watched 4 episodes of this show. I, like, went into a binge, and she's, like, credited in 4, and she only appears in, like, 1.
I was going to say, because she's credited in the episode that we watched for this.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't think she showed up, because I don't remember who she was, unless she, like, wore a fake mustache and played a man, like a janitor or something. I don't know. They did that thing like they did on Twin Peaks where like one of the characters dressed up like a man for an episode, like a couple episodes.
Oh, okay.
And it was like a twist. Unless I did that. You know what? Maybe that wasn't Betty White. Maybe that was really Monica Potter, like in a Betty White mask.
In a Betty White mask.
Yes, Betty White is on the show. Yeah, Betty White's on the show, by the way.
Like this show has like an amazing cast.
So the thing I want to point out about this, so we watched season 2, episode 1, The Black Widow.
Yes.
We selected this episode because it starred our gal pal, Heather Locklear. I sent you like a hot like DM like the night I watched the episode, and I was like, you don't even understand. Like, the people that are in this episode, we get Heather Locklear's in it, Rupert Everett's in it.
Yes, in the morning you wake up.
The dad,
say a little prayer for
the dad from 90210 himself, Jim Walsh, James Echoes, I believe is his name in real life, and Betty White, and just so many more people. And I was just like, I can't contain myself. There's too many special guests. I'm distracted.
It's amazing.
It's great.
Like, we will often, even though we haven't done an episode of the show, we'll talk about how, like, Las Vegas or the Love Boat always had, like, insane guest stars. But holy crap, Boston Legal. Damn, like, because I watched a few more episodes, and I know you did too. We watched at least another one.
Yeah, I watched one more, because we weren't expecting to this be a two-potter, by the way. Sorry, guys.
Sorry. Well, it's just continuing.
We'll do a quick wrap-up at the end of the episode of what happens next.
Like, all the episodes had good guest stars. Like, you'd be like, oh, I know that person, or oh, I reckon, or, you know, it was that kind of thing.
And I also want to point out, I didn't realize this, but the show also takes place in the same universe, not only as The Practice and Ally McBeal, but also Boston Public. Whoa!
Boston Public.
You don't know what Boston Public is?
Was that a Fox show?
Yeah, it was that David E. Kelley Fox show about like the high school, but it focused on the teachers.
Oh,
the faculty.
I don't think I ever actually watched that.
It was kind of in the same vein as this show, where it was perceived as a drama, but it really like had a lot of like dark comedy undertones.
Oh, that's the show Jerry Ryan was on.
Yeah, and Chi McBride and that girl who's always in things. I can't think of her name. That was very very particular. I'm sorry, internet. Hold on. Let me look it up.
I'm looking at the cast right now. I'm trying to like figure out who you mean.
Jocelyn Gilsig?
Hold up. Chris Evans was on Boston Public.
Yeah, I think he was a student, but I don't think he's in a lot of episodes though. Joey McIntyre was on it for a bit too.
Yeah, he's right there next to Kathy Baker.
Yeah, so all right, so this show like mainly focused on the students. I mean, on the faculty. Mm-hmm. So there might have been like a couple of like young actors that like might have popped up here and there, like portraying the students, but they never zeroed in on them like particularly. Like, the storylines mostly revolved around the faculty and like how they responded to the students. It was a fun little show. It had its moments, and I think they had like a lot of hot topics, like, you know, like they dealt with issues dealing with like dress codes and like, I don't know, like talking about sex in school and stuff, things that were hot around the time, and I don't know, like the late 90s or whenever the show was on.
It was on in the 2000s. Boston Public started in October 23rd, 2000, and ran until January 30th, 2004.
Oh, I felt like I was in high school when this show came on. Whoa.
No, we were post-high school.
Oh.
You were in college, though. I was in my gap year.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. 99, 2000, 2001 is such a blur to me. They all, like, intersect. So I just assume, like, anything that happened in that year, I just say I was in high school.
Yes, okay. So it's in the same universe as that show, and Ally McBeal and The Practice. I'm trying to remember, did The Practice and Ally McBeal ever cross over?
What? For sure. They did, like, a 2-part episode that started on Ally McBeal and ended on The Practice on the same night.
Even though they're on different networks?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was trying, like, I remember, like, that happening, but I could not find, like, any reference to it, like, on Wikipedia or anything. I didn't look that hard, I'll be honest.
All right, so I believe Ally McBeal and The Practice both take place in Boston, and they had to, like, they had to team up for one case. A few characters from The Practice came onto an episode of Ally McBeal, and the case...
Okay, yeah, I found it.
When the case...
It happened. It's not like a Mandela effect.
Yeah, and then at the end of Ally McBeal, because that was on Monday nights at 9 and The Practice was on at 10, you had to flip over to ABC and watch how the case wrapped up.
Yeah.
It was great. It was a fun night. You got to see, like, Dylan McDermott. Is that his name?
Who was that on The Practice? He's one of those guys who looks like the other guy. It was
Dylan McDermott. He played Bobby.
But then that's the thing. He and Dermot Mulrooney always get confused for each other.
Oh yeah, I always mix their names up.
And Dermot Mulroney, he's the one that was in My Best Friend's Wedding with Rupert Everett.
And then they also show you got me messing. What are you doing to me? Why did you have to say that guy's name? You got to see Dylan I've already forgot his name already. Dylan McDermott. You got to see Dylan McDermott's butt on the first season of American Horror Story. For all you folks out there who want to see his butt crack, if you want to see what his butt looks like. He was masturbating and looking out the window. And
already, though.
They show a quick shot of his butt. He might have got out of the shower. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen the first season of American Wedding. American Horror Story. Let's be real. American Wedding is a horror story.
What?
Hold on. Controversy Corner. You ready for Controversy Corner?
Give me Controversy Corner.
So I was at work about a week ago, hanging out with some coworkers who are roughly about the same age as me, and I dropped a joke about Stifler's mom, and they all looked at me like I was a ghost. They had never seen any of the American Pie movies.
Wait, what?
I made a joke about Stifler's mom, and they just looked at me. They're like, "Whose mom?" And I was like, "Stifler. You know, Stifler, the original MILF, like Stifler's mom, the original MILF, Jennifer Coolidge."
Yeah.
And they're like, no." And I was like, "American Pie, the movie where Jason Biggs sticks his dick in a fucking warm apple pie." Yeah, I remember it, but I wasn't allowed to watch it. I was like, "You weren't allowed to watch it." I'm like, "We're the same age." I was like 17 when it came out. You could have just gone to the movies and seen it. They're like, "Yeah, I still wasn't allowed to see it." I'm like, you were old enough to vote. You were old enough to vote. You weren't allowed to watch American Pie? What?
Like, okay, I remember when my friend Jessica and I went to see it, we couldn't tell her parents what movie we were going to see because they didn't want her to see American Pie.
Yeah, they didn't want your friend Jessica to learn about sticking dicks in pie. Whoa, her life would have been flipped upside down. Oh my God, she would have just been...
I'm just going to say, one of us was not as innocent as their parents thought.
Girl would have gone home and bought a Corolla on the way home from seeing the movie and like, what can I do with this Corolla?
Dude!
Well, anyway, Jessica and Kat in 1999 went to go see American Pie, much to the dismay of their parents' wishes. And they were never the same again. They were never the same again.
I can't believe you have coworkers who didn't get a Stifler's mom joke.
All right.
Oh my God.
I'm still shocked. And you know what? That very night, I went to the break room to grab a snack. And on the TV, on CMT for some reason, guess what movie was playing? American Pie.
Are you serious?
On the country music television, yeah. In like the middle of the night, like 2 a.m, the edited for television version of American Pie.
Oh my God.
Which you don't even see Jason Biggs hump the pie, so you have no idea what they're talking about the next day.
Oh my God.
Why is Jim's dad ashamed at his son?
What did he do?
Yeah, I don't even know why they even bother putting the show on TV, because they just fucking skip over that whole like pivotal scene. It's the reason...
Like, you'd have to edit out like a good chunk of that movie.
It's like the reason why the movie's called American Pie.
Yeah.
You want to talk about this night of television? This night of hot television?
Yeah, what was on this night of television? What night was this? Like, how far back are we? What year is this?
All right, get ready, girl. We're going back to season 2, episode 1, The Black Widow. Yeah, The Black Widow. This all happened. It was on a Tuesday. It happened on a Tuesday night, September 27th, 2005. We were young. We were dumb, full of vigor. Post-college, you might have been in your final year of college, but...
Yeah, I was in my final semester.
Yep, Kat was like that, she was like a little bit older than everyone else. You're like a whole year older than everyone else in your dorms. You were wiser. You were like the leader.
I was living off campus at this point.
Okay, you were living off campus in your spin-off with your gal pals. I'm assuming you lived with gals, right? I forget. I feel like we've talked...
I had a female roommate, yes.
Yeah, you're out there. Maybe you rode your 10-speed bike to school, because that's what we did back then. We rode bikes.
I walked like across the street.
Oh, you live so close.
Yeah.
Did you pack you threw your English book into your book bag and you walked across the streets? I pictured you like walking around campus looking like Mary Tyler Moore. You know those like shots of her like walking through the city? That on graduation day, you walked out of class, you walked out of your last class, and you threw your English book up in the air and it froze in the air. Because it's fucking Minnesota and it's cold. The air is cold, that books just stay in the air because it's that fucking cold. That's what really happened to Mary Tyler Moore's hat. Let's be real, girl.
Patrick forgets that I did not go to college in Minnesota. I went to college in Colorado.
Oh yeah, that's right. You moved to Minnesota. I can't remember these things. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Colorado's cold too. Colorado's chilly. Oh god.
Okay.
Biography corner. Apparently I failed that. All right. So it's September 27th, 2005. Kat's in Colorado, walking across the street to college. And she wanted to rush home that night. She wanted to get home to catch up with her friends at Crane, Pool, and Schmidt. Yes,
Crane, Pool, and Schmidt.
Let's talk about the other things that were going on this night. Yeah. You ready? You want to start off with the alphabet?
Okay, what else was happening this night?
This is a wild night of television. Actually, you know what? For the first time ever, I think I'm going to say this is not a wild night of television.
This is not a wild night?
No, things start off with the Jim Belushi, Courtney Thorne-Smith joint, according to Jim. Yeah, at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Not a fan. Did you ever watch this? I didn't really care for it.
I would catch it once in a while, like when it started rerunning on TBS or something.
You know what? I was kind of
and I was always like, why is she with him?
Yeah, all right, because I think Courtney Thorne-Smith left Ally McBeal to be on this show, I think. And I was like, why are you leaving Ally McBeal, girl?
Yeah.
That's your bread and butter, not this fucking sitcom. What the fuck are you doing, Courtney Thorne-Smith? We're going to forget all about you. I don't think she's done anything since, has she? Maybe a Lifetime movie?
She was on 2.5 Men.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, so this is one of those shows. It's kind of like King of Queens did it. It's just the hot chick, the hot blonde, married to the lovable, hefty dude. And he's just he was a lazy, couch potato type dad.
But he was always doing stupid stuff and getting into little schemes. And
it's kind of post Home Improvement era,
it's that weird dark age of sitcoms where the family sitcom really wasn't doing so hot.
Yeah, because I think Home Improvement ended, and then you had the next crop of shows came out, and it was this King of Queens, but King of Queens did it much better.
Still Standing, which was amazing. If you've never watched Still Standing, that was a great show.
Yeah, I've never seen it. It had Jamie Gertz.
Yeah.
Good son scenario. Courtney Thorne-Smith and Jamie Gertz are wrestling near a cliff. They're wrestling over who has the hottest lazy couch potato husband. They fall off a cliff. You just happen to be walking across the street with your book bag going to school, and your school's near a cliff. Well, but you grab them. One on each arm. You got Courtney Thorne-Smith on your left arm. You got Jamie Gertz on your right arm. You have to bring one up to safety because you only have enough upper arm strength to save one. Who would you save, Kat? Who would you save?
Courtney Thorne-Smith.
Correct answer. That's the correct answer because she played...
And also, just so you know...
What?
My school was on a mesa.
Oh.
There was a cliff.
What is a mesa? A cliff? Is that Spanish from cliff?
Okay. Let me see if I can find a correct way to describe it. Hold on.
Technically, we can call Cliff Clavin Mesa Clavin.
A mesa is an isolated flat-top hill with steep sides found in landscapes with horizontal strata, according to the dictionary.
According to Webster's Merriam. Shout out to Webster Merriam for that hot definition of mesa. So yeah, I think that's the correct answer. Courtney Thorne-Smith played our gal pal Allison on Melrose Place. Calista Flockhart's rival on Ally McBeal. I forget her name though. And then she fucking went on to do this show, and then 2.5 Men, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Downgrade. She gets a big fat downgrade for that. You ready for I'm sorry, this is a full hour, so this must have been the season premiere, so it was a full hour of According to Jim.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah, back-to-back episodes of the old ATJ. All right. I will say I'm excited about ABC 9 o'clock.
Okay.
This one's wild. All right, a little old show. It's about a woman. She just happens to be the vice president, I think, of the United States, and she stumbles into the role of presidency, and it just happens to be our gal pal Gina Davis. I'm only talking about the one and only Commander-in-Chief.
Because Patrick was the only person to watch this show.
Hold on, I just want to throw this out there. I've only seen one episode of this, and it was the pilot episode, which happened to premiere tonight. Yeah, so this is the show Gina Davis plays she's I don't think she's the vice president. I think she's the first lady or I don't know. She becomes the president for some reason. I don't know if I can know why. I forget. Everyone like doesn't want her to do it. They're like, no, a lady can't go into the White House. And she's like, I'm going to fucking do it anyway. And she goes into it and she does it. And the show gets canceled like 10 weeks later.
The world wasn't ready.
Yeah, the world wasn't ready for a lady president. But hold on. Julia Louis-Dreyfus would go on to do it on Veep like 15-ish years later. So shout out to our gal pal, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Mm-hmm. Shout out to her. And shout out to the one and only episode of Veep I've ever seen in which she has diarrhea.
Wow.
All right. You ready for ABC 10 o'clock?
Yeah, it was on at 10. I'm guessing Boston Legal.
Oh, yeah? All right. You ready for a boring night at CBS?
Yeah, it was on CBS. I can't even imagine what a Tuesday night on CBS was like.
Things kicked off with probably like an early season of NCIS. I don't know. This is probably like season like 1 or 2 or something. Who knows?
I mean, NCIS is going into its like 17th season next year.
And hold on. You ready for CBS 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
A 2-hour episode. I'm guessing it's probably the season premiere or series premiere or something premiere.
Of what?
One of the most, which I find to be the most boring reality show of all time, and I don't know why it's still on. The Amazing Race.
I've tried. Okay, here's the thing. I have tried to watch The Amazing Race. No, it just didn't do it for me. It wasn't like putting me to sleep the way Survivor does.
Yeah.
I just didn't find it enthralling enough to watch like I do Big Brother.
Yeah, you know what it is? Because I think we get spoiled with Big Brother because we get to see the live feeds and we actually get to like meet the people. And then like shows like Survivor.
We get to meet them. We get to actually see them play the game.
Yeah, and like shows like Survivor and The Amazing Race, they're edited like post the season's already wrapped up. So they already know the storyline. They know the storyline going into it. Uh-huh. So you kind of like, you can kind of figure out who's going to win or who's going to go far just based on like who's in the episode mostly. I don't know. I feel like the only time The Amazing Race does well is when they throw in like other reality series like alumni in it just to get people to watch it.
So you mean like this upcoming season should do well when it's got like half a dozen Big Brother players on it and like other reality stars?
Oh yeah. You know it.
Like I'm gonna give it a shot because Brittany Haynes is gonna be on it. That's the only reason. Shout
out to Brittany Haynes. And who's her teammate?
She is teamed up with Janelle. So it's Brittany and Janelle.
Oh, yeah.
They filmed it last summer.
They filmed this, like, before the last season of Big Brother started, so that's how fucking long this has been in the can.
Yeah, like, they started, like, 2 weeks before Big Brother started.
I feel like they're using this as a lead-in to the next season of Big Brother. Like, they're going to advertise.
Probably.
You ready? You ready for Fox? You ready to go over to the old Fox?
What was on Fox? I'm honestly, like, I cannot even think of what I was watching back in 2005.
I have a feeling you probably skipped this night. It was Bones and House. It was that Bones House like team up. That was probably like their 2 biggest shows at the time.
Definitely wasn't watching this.
Yeah, definitely a pass. All right, NBC kicked off with The Biggest Loser, one of those little like inspirational weight loss shows. Mm-hmm. Inspired like a bunch of work office pools to do their own similar challenges.
Yeah.
Followed by which I find to be underrated comedy. It doesn't really get the accolade as much as it does. My Name is Earl.
I'm starting to think I didn't watch TV this night.
You probably did it. Oh, I have a feeling that you're watching. We'll get to it in a few minutes. So NBC at 9, the 9 o'clock hour had My Name is Earl in The Office. And this is like the second season of The Office. And it was on a Tuesday. What? The Office on a Tuesday? Mm-hmm. I think they were still trying to find its groove. But hold on. SVU was on a 10.
I don't know if I was watching SVU or if I was watching Boston Legal this night.
I feel like you were probably watching SVU. Let's be real.
Maybe. Huh. I don't know.
A part of me thinks that you only went over to Boston Legal whenever SVU was a rerun. Didn't Boston Legal get shuffled around the schedule a little bit, though, here and there?
Yeah, Boston Legal got shuffled around a bit.
They were trying to get it to work because it's like critically acclaimed, but it wasn't like a ratings monster. It kind of got like moved around a lot because this is the year before Grey's Anatomy started. And it was on like in the Grey's Anatomy took its spot and it did like better in the ratings, so they like moved Boston Legal.
Yeah.
Still on it, overpowered ER as like the most episodes of a hospital drama.
Fucking Grey's Anatomy.
You want to talk about the WB? You want to go to the Frog?
Yeah, what was on the WB?
All right, I have a feeling you were watching this, the Gilmore Girls.
Maybe.
And then followed the Gilmore Girls was the show that's still on today, Supernatural.
You know, it was a Tuesday night, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't watching TV this night.
Was this like trivia night at the bar?
No, I would be this semester I was the vice president of the creative writing club on campus.
Oh.
And our meetings were Tuesday nights.
Oh, you were out there hosting meetings, coming in with donuts, a box of donuts for your crew.
I was at that.
Inspiring them to write creatively.
And then, like, I would probably, like, go home and change, and we would go out to the bar for college tonight.
Yeah, you go to the bar. You're like that old college dude at the bar. You're like, hey, man, I'm a rough old 23 still in college. They probably thought you were like the dead mother. She's older and wiser than us, that Kat Halstead, the old college student.
No, there were definitely college students older than me.
Remember when you were like 20 and you met someone that was like 24 and you just thought they were like older and wiser because they were 4 years older than you?
Yeah, and now it's like, no way.
I remember I worked retail the year I turned 21, and there was a girl that was like 25, and she would like tell me all the places that I should go to, and I was just like, wow, she's so old and wise beyond her years, because she knows all the cool bars to go to. I need to hang out with her more often. Yeah. And then like when I turned 25 and I was like, you met like 21-year-olds, you're like, oh, like you're just like, I was just annoying.
Yeah.
I have one last addendum to the night. One last addendum.
Okay.
We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I didn't realize this show was still on in 2005. On a little lesser-known networks, on the PAX network, now known as Ion Television, a little show starring Billy Ray Cyrus, Doc.
You're shitting me. You're shitting me. No.
Yes, Doc was on this night. Oh, yeah.
But Hannah Montana hadn't started yet. Never mind.
No, Hannah Montana was like 2010 or something. It was like way later.
No, Hannah Montana was like 2006.
Maybe this might have been the Lizzie McGuire era. This might have been the old. We were probably in the waning days of Lizzie McGuire. Probably like the last like few months.
No, like Lizzie McGuire was over at this point.
I don't know. They're all the same to me.
They're not all the same. Okay, Hannah Montana aired for the first time March 24th, 2006.
Lizzie McGuire was done. I feel like the Lizzie McGuire movie probably came out this year.
No, that movie came out years before that.
Oh, I don't know my fucking tween timeline. I was a cool like 24 years old at this time. I wasn't out fucking watching Lizzie McGuire.
Lizzie McGuire first came out January 12th, 2001. The final episode aired February 14th, 2004. And then the movie came out in 2003.
Yeah. Oh, so the movie came out while the show was on?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking, is it Hannah Montana the movie came out after the show ended? Maybe that's what I'm thinking of?
No. Hannah Montana, that movie came out while the show was still on.
Can I just throw something out there?
Yeah.
I think I've brought this up before, but it was like way into like, I think it was after Party in the USA came out by Miley Cyrus. That's when I realized that Hannah Montana and Miley Cyrus were the same person. I thought Hannah Montana was like an actual, like I knew it was a show, but I thought it was like a show starring Hannah Montana and Miley was like on the show and they were like competitive. I want to just throw something out there. Isn't like the whole point of like Hannah Montana was like that she's Hannah Montana and she's somebody else?
Okay, so she's like Miley Ray, but she's also Hannah Montana, a famous pop star, but she like keeps her anonymity.
All right. But like she wears glasses or something. That's when she's like Miley, and then like she takes her glasses off and she's Hannah. No,
she like wears a wig to be Hannah.
I don't know.
And like dresses a little flashier.
I don't know. The entire show ran. It became a whole thing. It ended. Then Miley Ray Cyrus went on to do like her own like solo career, like a solo music career. And that was when I finally realized they were the same person.
Wow.
And I was mind blown.
Way to go, Patrick. Way to go.
Yes. And I also realized at this time that Billy Ray Cyrus was not really a doctor on he only played one on TV. I think. I don't even know what the show is about.
Oh my god.
All right. We're like an hour into this now. You ready to talk about Boston Public? We do. All right. So take us into this world, Kat Halstead. I'm sorry if anyone came in here to hear us like talk about Boston Public, but no, it only took us an hour to get here.
But we're not talking about Boston Public. I don't understand your obsession with that show. We're here to talk about Boston Legal.
I'm sorry.
Jackass.
There are two shows made by the same creator, David E. Kelley, with the word Boston in the title, and Boston Public was the one I watched more of, so you know what?
So it's just like...
Take us into the world of Boston Legal.
So it's just like An average day, you get Denny Crane and Alan Shore strutting down the streets of Boston. They got their, like, hot suits on, their hot sunglasses. Like, they are totally in style for 2005.
Yeah, they're doing that, like, cool, like, angles and stuff, and everything's, like, crisp and colorful and bright.
And then they're, like, stop, and they're like, do we look good? Yeah, we look good.
I want to point out that this show makes Boston look really shiny, and I feel like it's not that shiny.
Yeah.
I don't remember Boston being that shiny when I lived there.
So, like, they go in, and, like, there's some, like, mayhem at the law firm, and they're like, what's going on? And you get, like, Betty White's character and her little pal, you know, the guy, who always plays, like, the kind of very effeminate men.
Leslie Jordan.
Yes, Leslie Jordan. He's, there with Betty White, and they're like, he's like, I just want to see her. I just want to get a glimpse of her. She's like, how do you know she's coming here? He's like, it's all over the website. There's a website that follows all her action. Because, again, it's 2005.
2005, there was, like, 1 million websites, and now there's only, like, 8.
But, what's going on? And they're like, oh, she's coming. She wants Alan to be her lawyer for the murder trial. And do you think she killed her husband? Everybody's kind of just, like, in a tizzy. And you kind of, like, cut to all this different, like, action throughout the, law firm office. And you get, like, Julie Bowen's character, Denise, walking with somebody and being like, you cannot make the book of Genesis assigned reading in the workplace. Or something like that. Like, it's just like these random little, like, quick cut things.
It took me a little while to get used to it. So the show, like, really cuts very quickly in between storylines.
Yeah.
Like, they'll, like, in the middle of action. So Kat is painting this picture, and she's, of course, painting the arrival of our goddess, our gal pal goddess.
Not a gal pal.
Not a gal pal?
Not a gal pal.
Not a gal pal?
I'll explain later.
She's like a hot mess gal pal. Heather Locklear, yeah.
Yeah, so Heather Locklear shows up, and she's got a freaking entourage with her.
What's her name in this? Kelley something. Kelley O'Neill?
Kelley Nolan.
Kelley Nolan. She's kind of like an Anna Nicole Smith-type in this.
You know, she's the young hot wife of the rich old man, and the old guy died while they were having sex.
Under suspicious circumstances. And as the episode develops, we learn, like, a little bit more details as it goes.
But, like, she fired her last attorney. She wants Alan as her attorney, and Denny Crane is just, like, obsessed with, like, being in on this. He's like, I gotta be it. And Candace Bergen's like, hey, Denny, I need you on this conference call. He's like, not right now. The Black Widow's here.
Yeah, so, all right. So Denny Crane is William Shatner. Alan Shores is James Spader. Mm-hmm. And Candace Bergen plays the other partner.
Shirley Schmidt.
I love that her name, like, is like alliterate. It's like Shirley Schmidt, so it's, I don't know, fun to say. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, you know what, if I grew up and my name was Shirley Schmidt, I'd fucking hate my life. But could you imagine all the kids? They'd probably call you Shirley Shit.
Yeah.
You know, like, middle school age, like, boys would call you Shirley Shit.
Oh, yeah, totally.
You know it.
Totally.
Here comes Shirley Schmidt. She thinks she's the shit. That's probably what they said. So,
there's like just a lot going on for this, like, morning. Like, it's just like crazy hustle bustle of a office kind of thing. Like, there's just a lot to do. Everybody's just doing their thing.
Part of me was, like, overwhelmed, like, watching this episode, only because there's so much going on. There's, like, we're juggling, like, 4 cases, mm-hmm. and I was, like, really distracted because now all of a sudden we cut to one case. I forget who it was. Tara, I think, was leading this case with Jim Walsh's character.
Tara and Shirley had the civil suit with the guy who supposedly molested the mute woman.
Who interacts. She can't speak. She can hear, but she can't speak. And she interacts with a violin for some reason.
Yeah, but we don't know that yet.
Yeah, but I don't know. But I'm still like, I had a hard time, like, following all the storylines because, like, I kept wanting to see what was going on with Heather Locklear, but then it kept cutting over to, like, the Jim Walsh storyline. We're just gonna call it the Jim Walsh storyline, just by the way. Yeah. I don't know what else to call it. And then there was, like, another case going on with I don't know. I couldn't tell what Julie Bowen's case was, to be real. Like, I couldn't really tell what was going on.
Okay, so, like, that one was, like, it was this business owner who felt that there was some moral decay going on around, like,
the workplace
with his employees.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, if you guys want to, like, read the Bible and have a prayer group, go for it. And this guy who had been employed there, who was Jewish, was like, this is offending me, you can't do this, I feel ostracized.
The whole case was used as the backdrop to like try to highlight the possible romance of Julie Bowen's character and her like legal assistant or something.
That was awkward. Plus, like, Julie Bowen's character gets, like, her ex-husband shows up and he's like, oh, hey, here, by the way, I'm suing you for divorce.
Yeah, oh yeah, because she was like, she's wildly distracted in this episode. She's like doing bad on the case.
Yeah.
And like
she's distracted and
she has this like, is he like a young lawyer? Is he supposed to be like a fresh lawyer?
Okay, yeah, like, so, like, the two lawyers, she, like, picks these two lawyers just to, like, sit at the table, so it looks like they have, like, a whole legal team to, like, kind of, like, intimidate the other side.
But they're like first-year lawyers, I think, right?
They're first years.
And there's one guy, though, he has, like, a crush on Julie Bowen's character.
Oh, yeah,
and
big time.
It's, like, her turn to speak, and Julie Bowen's just, like, looking down at the table. She's just thinking about she got served with divorce papers. And he he interjects. Julie Bowen kind of gets like an angry look on her face.
Yeah.
And they cut to like post like the little deposition thing, and she's like, "Excuse me." She's like, "Why did you interrupt me? You're not supposed to talk. You're only there just for looks."
Yeah.
And he's like, "You were obviously distracted." And she's like, "I was not." And then she's like, "Get out of my room. Like I don't want to talk to you for the rest of the day." And then she's like, "Wait, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Guy whose name I forget. He's like, "I." Yeah, she's like, because like I'd never seen him in anything else. Let's be real. I don't even know who he is.
He's dead.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa. He was like young. What did he die of?
It was like a car accident in like Wisconsin or something.
Whoa. I just want to point out, it always like freaks me out when people that are younger than me or like are roughly around the same age as me die.
Yeah.
When you said that, I was like, oh no.
Like I saw that on like the IMDb. I'm like, wait, what? Because I was like, who is he? I've never seen him in like anything else. I'm like, oh.
R.I.P. Guy that has a crush on Julie Bowen in the second season of Boston Legal.
So
yeah, so like this whole case is kind of like plays out in the background. It's like mostly just to highlight this like undeveloped phalanx between Julie Bowen and the dead actor. I'm sorry for calling you the dead actor. I don't know your name, but henceforward you're gonna be the dead actor.
Oh my god, we are awful people.
Yeah. So so that case plays out. I think I don't even remember how it ends, to be honest with you.
Like he actually like they have another meeting and she gets distracted again.
And he saves the day, I think.
And he pulls out this like video montage of like all these public figures saying talking about God and Christ and all that stuff, and he's like, we are a Christian nation, and it's more evident now than ever before, and blah blah, and the guy, like, I guess drops the case.
Yeah, and I also want to point out in this episode, they mentioned that Julie Bowen's character is 34, and I was just, like, wildly shocked, because I was like, she's younger than us right now, but I just always assumed her as being, like, an older woman, like, I mean, because she is, like, in real life, like, older than us, like, by, like, 10 years. But I'm just like, well, like, she's 34 in this. Julie Bowen was younger than us at one point in her life. And she makes a lot of money, I just want to point out, too, because we learn in the course of the episode that her husband, or soon-to-be ex-husband, is suing for alimony. He's like a couch potato. He's like Jim from According to Jim.
I think we find it out, actually, in, like, the next episode, but he is a golfer trying to get onto the PGA Tour, but he's obviously like not good enough.
She's like the moneymaker.
Yeah.
She and like I think she says she makes like $600,000 a year or something, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Damn.
Julie Bowen, that's why you can afford those hot suits.
Exactly. Like, holy.
And all those Botox treatments. That's why the young fucking first year law student studs want you. They want a piece of that Julie money.
Yeah.
They want that Julie cash. Can we talk about I really want to talk about the Heather Locklear story, because this is like the bread and butter of the episode. I really want to talk about how we get all these like wild jokes that you would never see on television today, of like William Shatner wanting to fuck Heather Locklear.
Yeah, which is just like wild to me.
It's like
I was watching this, I was like, this shit would not fly today, man.
This is sexual harassment corner, like right here. Oh my god.
Like there's stuff that comes up in like a couple episodes later that would like totally not fly today. Yeah, so like William Shatner's Denny Crane just really wants to get into Kelley's pants, and she even says, how about I send you over a pair of my pants and you can try getting into them on your own time. Like, that line was amazing.
Yeah, it was great. That her delivery of that was great too, because Alan James Spader's character is officially her lawyer. Denny Crane is just kind of like, he's just there for, he just keeps showing up. He doesn't, he really is like not like participating in the case at all.
Okay, well, here's the deal. This is like after Denny has found out he has mad cow disease.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. So Denny has mad cow disease, so I guess he's asked to like sit down and like sit back and...
Yeah, so because he's not exactly there.
He's supposed to be convalescent, but he keeps showing up to work because he has nothing else to do.
And like they still sort of need Denny because he's definitely like the face of Crane, Poole, and Schmidt.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's the first name on the fucking door.
And he's like, supposedly, it's been said that he's won over like 6,000 cases.
He's not actually doing like any lawyering. He's just kind of like showing up and just like making sexual advances towards Heather Locklear's character.
Yeah, he's like that old guy who just hangs around the office.
All right, so he's like way past his like retirement age, like in like real life, I think, by this point, right?
Yeah.
Because like how old is William Shatner? He's like, is he in his 80s now?
Hold on, let me like find out.
He was like old like 20 years ago.
William Shatner is 88 years old.
Yeah, so this is like almost like 15 years ago. So he was like early 70s at least at this point in time. I don't know, like he just kept showing up for work for no reason at all. Just still collecting that paycheck.
I mean, hey, Betty White was working too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So they hired Betty White. So Betty White's character,
she's Alan's secretary.
Yeah, but like she used to be like Alan's babysitter when he was like a child or something. I can't remember their backstory.
Yeah.
She still works for Alan. In the previous season, the Leslie Jordan's character is like someone who was like tried for murder like several times. Denny and Alan get him off.
But he's definitely guilty. He's totally guilty of those murders. Just so you know, guys.
Betty White's character like just decides to like keep an eye. Like they just say, hey, can you keep an eye on Bernie? That's his name, right? Bernie.
Yeah. Like, okay, so Betty White befriends him and is hoping that like her good ways and
change him
in her church and whatever will like show him that there's a better way to live than be a murderer.
Even though he got off for murder, they knew that he was the murderer, but like low key, like Bernie's just like obsessed with darkness. Like he's drawn to this case. Like he sees Heather Locklear and he's like, oh, like I get like murder vibes from her. Like I just want to kill again. Kind of like he's like following the case. He's like enthralled by this case.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this case is like a media frenzy. Like I just want to point out, like the world is encaptured by this case. It's that whole like Anna Nicole Smith thing. Like I bet you know what, like like in this world, in this Boston legal world, you know that like shortly after this case ended, you know that Heather Locklear's character got like a reality show on like the E! Network or something. Keeping up with Kelley.
Oh, totally. 100%.
So there's like there's this woman that lives with Heather Locklear's character's dead husband. Like
there's like the housekeeper who was like a live-in housekeeper.
She's like lived there forever.
So she lived in the house with Kelley and the husband, and she does not like Kelley at all.
No.
Like not one bit. And like me, I'm sitting here like, oh really? Oh, who would have had access to his pills? To the wine glasses.
Yeah, so, all right. So the whole thing is that Kelley was having sexual intercourse with her husband. And then, like, in the middle of intercourse, all of a sudden he said his chest hurt and he died of a heart attack, like, in the throe of passion. The police did a little investigating and they found there was, like, nitroglycerin. Yeah. Crushed nitroglycerin, like, tablets, like, in residue, like, in his wine glass, which led to his demise.
It wasn't even like the crushed tablets, it was like the powder from the capsules.
And so the police suspected Heather Locklear was the killer because she's like, what did they call her? Like the ice queen or something? Because she was very cold.
Yeah, she's very stoic.
She was very cold during the 911 call when the police arrived. She was very, she wasn't crying and everything. And then they found out she was having an affair, like, while all this was going on, which the husband knew about, by the way.
Yeah, like, when you're the person who has to be, like, that pillar of, like, composure and strength when, like, shit goes down, you kind of have to, like, force yourself to be, like, calm and icy. Otherwise, you're gonna break and then nothing's gonna get done.
That was her defense, I guess. She's like, yeah. I knew that if I was just cool, calm, and collective on the phone, that, I could clearly relay this information to the 911 phone call taker, whatever they're called.
Operator.
Thank you. Do you think it was Connie Britton's character from 911? She was living in Boston at the time.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Jennifer Love Hewitt would have been in college. Let's be real. She was out having the time of her life.
That was long gone, honey.
She was a ghost whisperer, I think, at this point, maybe.
Yeah, she's probably whispering to ghosts.
Yeah, she was sexy Haley Joel Osment at this time. So in the middle of all this, a sex tape comes out of Heather Locklear and her boy toy. It's
not a sex tape. It's like pictures because the creepy kid across the street used his telescope, used his high power camera that he had because his parents are rich as fuck, and he took pictures of it, all over the place.
Yeah, he was he was obsessed with Heather Locklear. He would always come over and stuff and watch her at the pool and spy on her and follow her to the grocery store and follow her to the library and follow her when she was doing all her errands.
Yeah.
So they send over Mark Valley's in the show, by the way. I just want to throw that out there too.
Mark Valley. Oh my god. Okay. Hold on.
Yes.
Can we just I have to bring this up. Mark Valley starred on Days of Our Lives back in the day as Jack Devereaux.
Yes, he was the original Jack, right?
No. He was a recast.
Okay, but he was Jack for a long time, right?
Yeah, he was Jack for a good chunk of time. When we started watching Days, that's the Jack we got. Was Mark Valley. Then
Mark Valley, in middle of the episode, he went to take a shower, and then a different Jack came out. That's him, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. The weird recast and then, the weird Missy Reeves cast not long after because Missy Reeves was having an affair with what's-his-face, Jason Brooks, who played Heather Locklear's boyfriend on this show, and then, yeah. Plus, you get Sean Christensen, who was on that show with Zac Efron and Lori Loughlin, but was also on Days as the worst character ever, Dr. Daniel Jonas, who needs to stay dead forever because Brady has his heart. That's our Days Corner. All right. Yeah, sorry. I kind of went on this weird tangent. So, I think the early 2000s was the most Mark Valley-est time of America. He was in everything. I was thinking of this when I was looking up the IMDb page. You know how you were convinced that Shamar Moore was on 70 different shows? That's Mark Valley, right? That's Mark Valley, who was on a million different shows. All right. Mark Valley has the career you think Shamar Moore has. Out of my own memory, just thinking about this. All right. He was on that Keen Eddie show that was on Fox. He was a detective. He was on Boston Legal. Mm-hmm. I remember him being on Fringe, Human Target. He was on some show with Kathy Bates. Yeah. Which I think was also a David Kelley show. He was in Feud. Oh, that's right. He was on Feud. He pops up everywhere. He's been on CSI. He was in some of the Signed, Sealed, Delivered stuff. ER, I think. Hot in Cleveland. Body of Proof. Harry's Law, which is the Kathy Bates show you were thinking of. Yes. Swingtown. Oh, R.I.P. Swingtown, which also had Grant Show. Yeah, Grant Show, who's also on the new Dynasty. And it also had the guy from Coupling, the British version, Jack Davenport. Oh yeah, shout out to Zach Davenport from the British version of Coupling. Not to be confused with the shitty U.S. one that had Steve Sanders' wife. That just did not translate. Did that come out after Friends ended? No, it came on during the final season of Friends. They were hoping it would be the Friends replacement. That was NBC just at a scramble. They were kind of in a bad position for a few years. NBC was in a bad. NBC, I feel was in a really bad place for a while. Yeah, I think things started turning around for them. I feel they didn't start to come out of it until This Is Us. No, I think they came out of it with with The Office and 30 Rock. Here's the thing. Those shows have such a small audience in all honesty. They have a very controlled, small audience. It kept them afloat, I think, because I think those shows came out when Netflix started releasing seasons of TV shows on DVD. So people were ordering The Office DVDs and watching them and getting into it. But I think they had Heroes was definitely a buzz show for them because that got TV Guide covers and stuff. For a year and then it faded away. They had a few tentpole shows though. But I think mostly they started dipping into the reality pool. So they had The Biggest Loser kind of kept them afloat for a while. It was able to fund all these little shows. But they had these sleeper hits My Name is Earl and 30 Rock and The Office and
Parks and Recs and stuff. Things that kind of kept things going for them. They did a lot of like Lost type shows. Like
they kept trying to get a Lost, and they didn't get a Lost. Is the thing.
The Event? Did they have The Event?
They had The Event. They have that one right now with the plane.
Like Flight something? I don't know.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Yeah, I think the time...
I forget.
The time has passed for us to do like Miss in Flight shows. We don't need to do that anymore. Lost did it. There's one with like on Amazon with like Kate Beckinsale. And there's like a missing plane in the mountains. And she's like living in the mountains. I don't know. But I like Kate Beckinsale, but...
Just what we need is more reasons for people to get Kate Beckinsale and Evangeline Lilly confused.
All right, hold on. Kate from Lost and Kate Beckinsale are wrestling on a cliff, and she just happened to be walking by going to school because we learned that your school's near a cliff. You can only save one. You can save Kate Beckinsale or Kate from Lost. Who do you save?
Is this 2019 Cat or like 2005 Cat?
It doesn't matter, to be honest with you.
I'm saving Kate from Lost.
What?
Yeah.
Come on.
How else are we going to get the Wasp?
Kate Beckinsale can play the Wasp.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, where are we? Where are we in the show?
Oh, Alan Shore is just trying to like get like a continuance or so, like get enough time to at least go over the evidence that they have because he's the new lawyer and he's got the dickiest judge in the world. Like, did you want to slap this judge? Because I wanted to slap him every time he said the great Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Yes, so, all right.
Like, what the fuck was that?
I want to point something out about the judge. The judge had like a weird eye twitch. Denny Crane kept zeroing in on. So he kept like noticing this weird eye twitch. And he's like, maybe you're the one with mad cow disease.
Oh, Denny.
Yeah, all right. So what happened was, as you mentioned earlier, so Heather Locklear's character, Kelley, she fired her previous lawyer. So like they were like ready to go to trial. So they hired Crane, Poole, Shores like very quickly. They didn't really have like
Crane, Poole, and Schmidt.
What did I call it? Crane, Poole, and Shores.
Crane, Poole, and Shore.
Crane, Poole, and Jersey Shore. So they had like very little time to like get everything together because the case was starting. Alan just wanted like a couple more days just to like go over all like the facts and everything. And this lawyer, the judge like wanted to get things going. So he was just trying to get something. I think what he was really trying to do was trying to like change the location of the trial.
Yeah, he was trying to get change. Well, he tried a few things, like because he went up in front of that judge a few times.
Yeah. For
different hearings, and the judge was like, "No, you're in contempt. You're in contempt. I'm going to hold you in contempt." A
website came out with like sex pictures of Kelley and the Justin character from that she was having affair with like in compromised situations. So he was like, I feel this is damaging to the case. Maybe we can change the location. But the judge was like, no, the website's out there. No matter where we go, people are going to know this case. James Spader is a firecracker in the show. Like he snaps back at all the judges. So this judge kept giving him like, you're in contempt. He's like, when this trial's over, you're going to have to spend the day in jail. And then it was like, he later on, he would say something else. He's like, now you're going to spend 2 days in jail.
By the end of the trial, James Spader's character, Alan Shore, is held in contempt and has to spend like 4 days in jail.
His sentence is quadrupled, so he has to spend like 4 days. And he didn't care. He's like, whatever, I'll spend fucking 4 days in jail.
He's like, whatever.
This is nothing to him. He's like, I don't care. You know what? Those 4 days in jail are going to be a vacation for me.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, the law firm is excited they have this case because this is like a headline case for them. So like if they win this case, like they're gonna get like all kinds of fucking like fun new clients. They're excited they had like Danny's like we need to win this like murder case because this is like a banner case for us.
Yeah.
Our names are all over this. This is like their OJ trial, I think. Let's be real.
Yeah, it's a huge trial. This is like the trial that you want to be on if you want to make a name for yourself as an attorney.
Yeah, if they win this, they'll like this is like the dream team that people are gonna want. Like people are gonna be like, you know, we want Mark Valley's character. We want Alan. We want this whole thing. We want this whole like ragtag team. So because they can't get their continuance, because they can't change the location, Alan's like now forced in a corner. He's starting to believe that Heather Locklear is innocent. He's like, you know what? I believe her story. He's like, everyone's against her.
There's something about her, about the way she's saying stuff and holding herself that he's like, she's innocent.
Yeah, and
like he honestly believes it.
But he's like, you know what? We have to get jury sympathy. Like that's our angle now, because everyone's gone into this case with a preconceived notion that she did it. There's the whole like media whirlwind behind her story that, you know, she's guilty. The media is already calling her the Black Widow.
Yeah.
She's being painted as a villain. So he's like, all right. So the jury, we got to get jury sympathy because they're locked away. Because I think it's a high profile case. They're probably like, they have to go stay in a hotel, I think. Is that what I gathered?
Yeah, they're sequestered.
So they don't know about all this stuff that's going on in the outside world. Rightfully so. So he's like, all right, our key is we have to keep this case self-contained. We have to go for jury sympathy. So the cross-examination is not good for Heather Locklear's character, by the way. It's not good.
Yeah, it's not, she's not looking good in like any of this, no matter, it's just how it is. She's just not looking so hot.
She's kind of like Amanda Woodward, her Melrose Place character. She's a cold-hearted bitch. She comes across very bad on the stand.
Which this is actually in the next episode.
Oh, that's right. It crosses over. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She comes off like very poorly on the stand. She's not saying the right things. They then call up the housekeeper. Is that what she was? The long-term housekeeper.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
she's more emotional. She's more believable, like in the way she says it. However, like it's clear, it's evident that she like has a thing out for Heather Locklear's character, and she gets very emotional. So she's now like, you know, like the jury is probably like just seeing Heather Locklear as this cold-hearted bitch. However, Alan's like, you know what? All this evidence, there's no evidence against.
Yeah, it's all circumstantial. The police didn't investigate any other suspects.
Yep, they just immediately went right to her. Mm-hmm. We get one of those fun, like, Denny and Alan, like, on, like, that cool, like, balcony outside their office.
Yes, which, okay, that balcony always kind of drove me crazy because, like, even when it's supposed to be, like, winter, they just sit out there and smoke cigars in, like, their suits, but without, like, heavy jackets or anything. And it's freaking Boston. Yeah,
I want to point out, Boston's very cold. Like, even in the fall, you don't really hang outside that much because it's windy and cold. It gets cold very early.
Yeah.
But it's a cool looking like balcony, and they have little like lawn chairs out there that they like just chill on.
Yeah, I love those chairs though, man.
Yeah.
Those are like some nice. It's like outdoor chairs.
It's like something you would see like on the lanai on the Golden Girls house.
Like no, it's cooler than the lanai on the Golden Girls house. It's like these molded plastic chairs that look like indoor armchairs. Yes.
I want to point out, when we have our Hawaiian mansion, we're going to have those lawn chairs.
Oh, 100%.
Those chairs, we're going to have a balcony that overlooks the ocean, and we'll go out there, we'll just talk, when we're solving our mysteries, and we're baffled by the mystery, we just can't quite figure it out. We're going to go out there. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have mad cow disease, and I'm going to be out there, and I'm going to tell you, just like Denny Crane told Alan Shores, he's like, you know what? We just need to get reasonable doubt.
Yeah, we need to have a reasonable doubt. We need to create reasonable doubt in the closing statement. That's all you have to do is give a jury enough cause that it's not there, that there's a reasonable doubt that this woman isn't the one who did it. I don't know. Personally, for me, what the housekeeper says herself and the way she says it is enough doubt for me.
Yeah, I don't know, but you know what? I think it's just in the world. It's just like, you know what? You know, like how we have those like big media cases where like you're like, oh, they're guilty, and you don't even like look into it. That's the kind of thing that was going on.
Yeah.
But we get, I think, one of the greatest like closing arguments of like any like legal related movie or series I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's Alan Shores, and he's trying to get create like the aura of reasonable doubt. So he'll say something. He'll look over at Denny, who's like and Denny shakes his head, no, that's not it. So he'll start going into something else. He goes up at bat. He has like 2 or 3 misses. And then he brings up Schadenfreude. Is that what it's called? Schadenfreude?
Yes.
A term which means damage and joy at the same time. And he says that Kelley
Nolan.
I'm sorry. Kelley Nolan. I'm just going to call her Heather Locklear. I'm sorry. Heather Locklear is the Schadenfreude. She's a combination of damage and joy. You know, she is what you see. You know, the world just sees her as the villain already. She's being villainized in the press. She's being villainized here in the courtroom. However, there's no evidence whatsoever that indicates that she opened up the capsule and put nitroglycerin in her husband's wine.
And then let him have Viagra, yeah.
Yeah, like, yes, she was having an affair. Her husband knew about it. Who cares? Like, whatever. Let her every dick in town go inside her. Who cares? That's her own business.
Like, she and her husband agreed that she could sleep with other men.
Yeah, she's not on trial for having for sex. She's on trial for murder, but there's no evidence whatsoever. Jury finally bought it, and they come out with that not guilty verdict. She's excited. She's happy. You know what? Even like when they say not guilty, her facial expression doesn't change. She's
still very stoic. She's very stony.
Yeah,
she's not giving them what they want to see. You know, she's not showing the emotions that are going to make it so that the press run with some crazy headline like, oh, now she shows, you know what I mean? It's very much like she's trying to control everything.
You know what?
So that this media circus goes away.
You know what? There's so much Botox in her face that her face probably can't move. Let's be real.
True.
Let's be real. You know what? She got that
True.
She got that Nolan money. She got that Nolan cash, that rich old man cash, and she just went down to her local plastic surgeon, Dr. 02351 or whatever fucking Boston zip code is. It's something like that. Mm-hmm. She went down to Dr. That and just got her face filled up. You know what? She knew that the Boston Globe and the Boston Herald and all the little local rags and the local TMZs would be flashing pictures of her. So she wanted to look good. Girl, she wanted to look good for this case, and she did.
Yeah.
She looked hot. She looked tough for being 57 or ever how old fucking Heather Locklear is in real life.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but she old as fuck. But yeah, she got that not guilty verdict, and she just, same face, same facial expression. She gave Denny a little long hug, and we get this line later on in the episode where Denny's like, you know what? Despite all this, I didn't get a chance to sleep with her. Like, I should have, but I didn't get a chance. She's out of our life now. But we get like a weird scene.
Yeah.
Before that happens, though, where the trial's over, they're like walking out of the court, and Alan and Heather Locklear go into the elevator. Alan pulls like the stop button on the elevator. He's like, all right. He's like, the case is over. You know all about double jeopardy. You saw that Ashley Judd movie. You know the rules. You can't be tried twice for the same murder.
Yeah.
It's like, I just want to know, did you do it? The camera zooms in on her face. She's thinking for a minute, thinking very carefully. No, I didn't do it. He's like, okay, and he resumes the elevator.
And she smiles.
She does. That's right. I'm sorry. She smiles a little bit. She's like, no, that's enough for me. He didn't care. Like, he really didn't care. Because I think, like, Denny's like,
good.
There's a point, like, in the episode, like, before, like, he even started to suspect something. Because, like, at one point, Alan's like, I don't think she did it. But before, Denny's like, did you think she did? And he's like, oh, yeah, like, she did it. But he's like, that doesn't matter. Because you know what? He's the defense attorney. It doesn't matter if she did it or not.
Yeah.
He's designed to get her off.
That's all. He did his job, and hey, she actually turned out to be innocent.
And I want to point out, I'm sorry, I know we said we did the episode The Black Widow, but this takes place over the course of 2 episodes. But I think
Yeah, the Heather Locklear stuff goes into the next episode.
I think to tell her story, though, because I really felt like that was like the bread and butter for the 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. And I really feel like we had to cross over to the 2 episodes. But I want to sidestep a little bit. Kind of wrap up the Betty White storyline a little bit here, because I feel like that's a very enthralling storyline too. I
want to point out that, like, Alan Shore tells Betty White in that first episode, your little friend is gonna kill again.
So like Betty White and Bernie, they're kind of like they're just watching this trial unfold, like, by news clips and stuff. Like, we cut over and we see them in like different places. Like, I think they're in the break room, they're at their house, and they're different places. They're watching this all unfold on television, and Bernie's like, I totally get it. He's like, you know, taking a life is just very, very powering. Like, when you take someone's life, when you watch their life like slip away, like, I just feel like I could do it again. And Betty White's like shook. Like, she's fucking shook.
Yeah, she's like, oh crap.
So like the whole course of these 2 episodes, she's like trying to like be like, no, like, he's like, this is a problem, Bernie. Like, this is a problem. And he's like, no, he's like, I won't do it, though. He's like, I won't act on it, but.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not going to do anything. And, like, she even goes to, like, the police. She's like, I'm worried that he's going to kill again. And they're like, well, we can't do anything. Sorry.
Yeah, they're like, he hasn't specifically made any specific threats on anyone's life, so we can't do anything about it. At the end of the after Heather Locklear gets off or beats a murder rap, Bernie's talking about, like, good for her. He's like, good for her. He's inspired a little bit.
He was inspired because he and Betty White are like sitting down at dinner, and the Nancy Grace-like lady is on TV with the news.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. So Gracie Jones, that's her name.
Yeah.
She's the Nancy Grace-like lady. So we get these little like news clips of her doing the yelling at the camera, talking about how she hates this rich white woman for, I don't know, Nancy Grace-like reasons. She hates all fucking white women in the world out there, all rich white women. She hates fucking gold diggers. So they're watching this, and Betty White just picks up a frying pan, smacks fucking Bernie over the fucking back of the head, knocks him out cold.
Not once, but twice.
And he falls dead on the floor, and she's like, well, I guess he won't kill again.
Yep.
It's just a nice little like end cap to the episode, I thought.
Yeah.
Overall, on a scale of 1 out of 5 stoic Heather Locklear faces, how many stoic Heather Locklear faces do you give this little arc of Boston Legal?
5.
I give it a fucking cold-hearted 5 also. It was great. It was fun little show. A lot of jokes, a lot of like quips.
Yeah.
A lot of quips going on, a lot of cuts.
Like, I love the relationship between Denny and Alan.
It's great. Their dynamic's great. They're evil people. They're just fucking cold hard bitches too.
They're really like awful assholes, but you love them.
Yeah, they're like fun assholes. So they're like,
but they're fun to watch. Here's the thing: what I love is when you know two actors love working together and are having fun, and you can see that with James Spader and William Shatner in this.
And I want to point out that David E. Kelley is very good at combining drama and comedy. By the way, like he's just always been good at that. And I think he wrote both of these episodes, I believe. I thought I saw his name as the head writer for both of them.
I think so, yeah.
I think he can really make, I don't know, is he a director too? Does he do the directing?
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know, but I feel like when he has the right cast, like he can bring it out of people. He can bring the best out of his actors. And you know what? He just finds like the great quirky set of people to work with. And they all work well together. Like, because I would never...
Oh, he's still married to Michelle Pfeiffer.
What's that?
David E. Kelley is still married to Michelle Pfeiffer. I didn't realize they were still married.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you. I was going to say, are they married? All right, so I believe David E. Kelley is from Boston. That's why all his shows take place there. But he continued to live there. I think he still lives there.
Really?
Yeah, they have a house in a town that was not too far from me. I remember because I never bumped into him and Michelle Pfeiffer, but I know people who have bumped into him and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
I don't know if they lived there year round, but they definitely had like a home there, and they always were like spotted at the local like grocery stores and stuff, like buying salad dressings and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it's great. It's this quirky, fun little writing. It made me love James Spader. Like it made me enough to like follow James Spader to The Office, like when he played the Office boss for a little while, and The Blacklist. He's on The Blacklist now. Is that still on?
Yes. Oh my god, is it still? It's like one of the best shows. Oh my god, Patrick. It's so good. James Spader as Red Reddington. Oh my god.
But all I know is watching these 2 episodes of Boston Legal has made me I'm gonna go back and watch the whole thing on Amazon. Like all 5 seasons are on there.
Yeah, so am I. I'm like, I have to watch more.
Tell me, baby girl. I need to know. I need to know all about how the show wraps up. There's 4 complete seasons, right? And then the final season's one of those abbreviated ones. They just did let it do a final wrap.
Yeah, I think so. It's but there's 5 seasons.
I think
it's a 13 episode season instead of a 22.
Yeah, because I think season 4 they got to episode 88 or something. They wanted to give it the sweet 100 to get that syndication deal.
Yeah, David E. Kelley was like, let me get to 100.
Get the rights, and now we got all seasons on Amazon.
And then we can get that sweet syndication cash. And it's syndicated on some channel. When we've been looking at my cable guide, we see it pop up on Ovation or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember it being on TNT for a while, one of those cable networks for a while. It was on the afternoon or something, before the SVU block.
Yeah, it's on for 3 or 4 hours. You get a block of episodes and then.
Any last minute thoughts on Boston Legal before we close the case, before we drop the gavel? Before we bang our gavel?
I find it fascinating the way it just with Denise, they didn't introduce her. She was just there. She wasn't a new lawyer. She was just a lawyer that they were going to focus on now, who had been at the firm already.
That's Julie Bowen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like the way they did that. She's just there.
Yeah, because I kind of you would get the impression that she's been there all along.
Yeah, I was oh, how long had she been on here? I was I don't remember. I was I remember Monica Potter being on, and then I looked at it, I was wait, she started in season 2, and then I looked into it more, and it's yeah, they just used it as she was the lawyer who's already there.
Um,
And I kind of like that.
I
Instead
think
of being like, oh, hey, this one's transferred from the Dallas office or something, you know?
I think that's kind of like David E. Kelley style. I kind of remember like Ally McBeal being like that. They would always just like randomly like introduce characters that worked at their firm that weren't in like the main credits, but they were just always there, and they'd always just reoccur and pop up when needed.
Yeah.
They did that with like the judges and stuff. Like I think they like reuse the judges a lot. As I recall.
I was reading there's like one judge who like shows up a lot. I hope it's really not the one we had to deal with in this episode, because I really wanted to punch him every time he said Massachusetts.
The Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
The Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I was like, why are you saying it like this, bro?
I mean, he was a shitty character, but I feel like if he turned up again, like I wouldn't be opposed to him. Like, he'd be that, like, oh, it's this guy again.
It's like, oh, you know, Alan's gonna end up in contempt of court and have to spend the night in jail because of this guy.
Oh, yeah. Like, yeah, I would have loved, like, just, like, recurring gag of just Alan spending, like, 4 days in jail because he has that judge.
Yeah.
I would love, like, episodes of, like, just, if they just cut over to him, like, actually, like, sitting behind, like, a jail cell with all his files, like, just reviewing a case.
It's like, welcome back, Mr. Shore. We got your favorite cell for you.
Remember that show, The Commish, that had
Vaguely
the Vic Mackey guy? What was his name? What can I think of his name? Michael Chiklis.
Yeah, that guy.
I remember there was like an episode of The Commish in like which he gets like arrested for some like petty crime, and there's like an episode of him like, and they just show him like in the jail, and they put like his like desk, like detective desk, like in the cell, and they just show him in there like doing detective work, like biding his time.
Wow.
I just have a vivid memory of that. We have to find episodes of The Commish. I don't know. It's a great show. Fun ass show.
That was a show I never watched. My mom watched it, but I never watched it.
I was super young when it was on. I was probably in like 5th or 6th grade.
Yeah.
And I remember when I went away on vacation with my grandparents in New Hampshire for like a ski trip one year. And it was like during like a February vacation, one of like school vacations. So I went, and it was on one night. I watched it with them, and I was like really like intrigued by it. And then when like it was on late, I think it was on like 10 o'clock. So it was always like on too late for me.
Yeah, it wasn't like an early show.
And then I remember when summer rolled around that year, or like whenever it was like another vacation or something, I would watch The Commish, and I just like really got into it for like a couple of years. Not a long time, but it was just like fun little quirky little detective show. It was great. I don't know. I would love to find it and see how it holds up. It probably doesn't. It's probably like Diagnosis Murder, like just only designed for old people. But who knows? Who knows? What are we doing next week, Cut Halts of the Author, for episode 147? Where are we going?
Oh God!
I'm excited about this for some reason.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've done a cartoon.
Yes.
So we're going back to the past, but also the future.
Yeah.
Or it could be the present. I don't even know if the Jetsons say. Oh, sorry, I just dropped the name. Yeah, we're doing the Jetsons. We're going back to the space age. Should we do like an original run of the show, or should we do like the quirky 80s like reboot?
I think we should do original run. And the Jetsons take place in the year 2062.
Okay, so we're still a ways out from it. We're still a ways out.
Yeah, we don't have to worry just yet that we don't have an apartment in the sky on like just 2 metal rods.
And I'm looking forward to talking about Jane Jetson and like the machine that makes her face look like hot right away, like when she wakes up in the morning.
Yeah, man.
She wakes up, she's got bags under her eyes, and then she has to do a FaceTime chat with one of her friends, and she hits a button, and this like mask like goes over her face to give her like the hot Jane Jetson face. And I can't wait to talk about how like Jane Jetson's is younger than us in real life, but George Jetson's like 40. I remember watching an episode and they established that he's 40 and she's like 32 or something.
Whoa, how'd he get such a hot young wife? Wait a minute. 32, but how old is Judy?
Judy's like a teen. She's like 16.
So Jane had Judy when she was 16?
She might be 34. She's slightly younger than us. I remember watching the Jetsons and learning that Jane Jetson was because I was watching it a few months back on Boomerang. I watched like a bunch of episodes and I remember like learning that. And there's a lot of like weird Jetson things that I never realized. Like Rosie's only in like one episode, like in the original run, and like she's brought back in like the 80s reboot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like Rosie. There's one episode in which they get Rosie, never mentioned again, and then she's like they bring her back in like the 80s reboot. That little like bouncy slinky thing, Orbity.
Orbity, yeah.
Orbit's an 80s character.
Okay.
a lot of like the old-timey episodes, more adult-like storylines, and then like the 80s run, it was like strictly like a Saturday morning kid show. So it's like, it's wild that I never picked up on this stuff.
I did not realize there was a difference between what aired in the 60s and 80s.
A lot of the 60s episode focused on like more like space age stuff, and the 80s are like more like computer age stuff. Like they focus more on the electronics. A lot of the stuff is like actually starting to come into fruition now. So like, yeah, so that's wild. So I don't know. We'll pick up a hot episode. We'll talk about it.
We'll have to dive into that later, yeah.
Yes, I can't wait. All right. So where can you follow us, Cat Halls of the Author? Where can you follow our wild adventures?
You can follow us on Twitter at VeryPodcast. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr at A Very Special Podcast. Do not accept invitations from men who name themselves Lasagna. YouTube, you can find us on Podcoin.
Yeah, shout out to Podcoin.
Right?
Go to your favorite app store, download the Podcoin app, and use code VERYSPECIAL to sign up to earn 300 Podcoins right off the bat. And what is Podcoin? It's a hot new app that literally pays you, yes, it pays you to listen to podcasts. You basically just listen to podcasts and earn Podcoins, and you can redeem them for hot items like Amazon gift cards or Starbucks cards, or you can even donate to charity. So download the app today, girl, yeah.
If you listen to us, you have already found us, so keep following us and our wacky adventures and fill out our listener survey so we can give you guys what you actually want instead of our crazy random ideas.
Yes. So as always, girl, as always,
Bye!
watch the sky and look up and look at the cool balcony that Danny Crane and Alan Shore sit at. I didn't know what to do with that one. We didn't involve the sky, really.
I was like, don't have mad cow disease.
Get tested for mad cow disease.